This is the Tempo from Mode Designs, which is a keyboard design studio that's based out of Boston, Massachusetts. They got their start in late 2020 with their first design, the Mode 80, which was a TKL that used the unique stack mount mounting system. Since the 80, they've released several boards like the Sonnet 75% and more recently the Envoy 65%. I was really excited to try out a Mode keyboard because as a vendor, they're doing some really exciting things that we'll talk about. So let's talk about it. But first, the specs. It's 3 a.m. and this video needs to go live in 3 hours. Let's go. The Tempo is a 60% keyboard in the symmetrical HHKB layout, and you have the option of several different color choices. By now, you've probably at least played around with Mode's configurator on their site, and as far as I know, they were the first vendor to offer a real-time customizer that you could play with to mix and match your perfect build. Like pretty much all of their previous builds, the Tempo has an accent piece that'll come in different colors and materials. Today we're looking at the Mirage colorway with an E-white aluminum accent piece and bottom weight. The Tempo is very similar to the 65% Envoy, and it shares the same lattice block system that we also saw copied recently in the Neo 65. I for one am a huge fan of Mode pushing the envelope when it comes to new mounting systems, and it's refreshing to see something other than the typical gasket mount keyboards that have flooded the market in the past few years. The board has a 5.8 degree typing angle and a front height of 19.4 millimeters. The PCB is 1.6 millimeters with no flex cuts, thank God, and it comes in either hot swap or solderable PCBs with both ANSI and ISO support. I opted for a solder PCB on my prototype, and I have to say that mil-maxing this PCB was a huge pain because the switch pinholes are tight. If you are mil-maxing though, I think that's actually a plus because it makes soldering the switches a lot easier. Before we go any further, let's go to the typing test. Today we're building the board with Mode's Obscura switches, which are a long pole linear that are manufactured by Utemu with a full nylon housing and a long pole palm stem. It's got a total travel approximately 3.4 millimeters. We're building it on a carbon fiber plate with the softer lattice mount blocks. Keycaps are Mode's anthracite keycaps, which I believe are double shot ABS. Here's the sound test. I was really surprised at how sturdy the typing experience was, even with the softer lattice block material. The sound with the Obscura linears and the carbon fiber plate was extremely clacky, and I have to say that Mode has a way with the spacebar. One thing I've always noticed about Mode keyboards on streams and in typing tests are their super tasty spacebar sounds, and the Tempo definitely doesn't disappoint. As for the overall sound signature though, I don't know if the carbon fiber plate was the best match with this board and switches, as I felt like the sound signatures clashed a bit. I'd like to hear this board with an FR4 plate because I think that would sound really nice, as the lattice block does offer more room for sound to reverb against the PCB inside the case. It doesn't sound hollow by any means, but let's take a listen after adding the bottom case foams to tame some of the highs. Thanks to the lattice block design, disassembling the board is literally a 2-minute affair, and I have to say, I'm a huge fan. Here's a sound test after adding the bottom case foam. Here we go. After adding the case foam, I think the overall sound signature of the board with the carbon fiber plate in this configuration improved quite a bit, just by taking a little bit off the top end of the sound signature. And if you couldn't tell, I'm a pretty big fan of this board, not only because of the different customizability options and the overall typing experience. I mean, you get a lot of customizability with a lot of other boards these days. But I think overall I really like the idea of what Mode's got going on because, well, like I said before, there isn't a lot of true innovation in this hobby. And it's because of companies like Mode that we get to truly try new ideas that push the hobby forward into the mainstream. They march to the beat of their own drum, dare I say, at their own tempo. Kind of like you, marching to the beat of smashing that like button. The board will be in pre-order on their website by the time this video is live, and it starts at $259, which puts this board squarely in the mid-range price point. I think for the price, you're getting a very thoughtfully designed and premium quality board with some very nice quality of life features, and it's a great upgrade option from something like an ACO or QK series board. I think as with Mode's keyboards in general, they offer a premium product at a pretty affordable price. And they were also one of the first vendors in this hobby that prioritized in-stock sales as opposed to a group buy model. So that's a W in my book. Overall though, I think 2023 is kind of a rough year for the mid-range price point in the keyboard hobby. We have a lot of really good affordable boards, and we have a lot of really expensive endgame builds. But I think honestly, endgame is kind of what you make of it. And there's no reason why a board like this tempo can't be your endgame. But I'll get off my soapbox. Check out some more keyboard content here. I'm MakerMods, and I'll catch you in the next video.